We got to stay serious in terms of maintaining our discipline for at least another month.
If my mother gets COVID-19, she's a goner. Somebody somewhere must be dropping the ball for it to be up to 28 cases in a facility where it's locked down.
And from the outside window, I could clearly see that his breathing was labored.
It's very, very real, and people need to understand that my kids are going to grow up without a dad.
I'm glorified. I never saw this in my life.
I didn't expect this. I thought maybe a cake or something like that, but this is some birthday cake, I tell you.
Cars were here at 4:30 this morning. It was unbelievable.
Things are amazing here, Kara. This is just an unbelievable event. I am so proud. I am so proud of Channel 3.
When people do things that are so nice for others, we feel it's important to recognize those people.
Live from WFSB, this is a special edition of Face the State with Dennis House. Coronavirus in Connecticut.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dennis House. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to this special live Thursday night edition of Face the State. And welcome Governor Lamont joining us now from the executive residence in the city's West End. Governor, good evening to you.
Hi, Dennis. Nice to see you, sort of.
Nice to see you, yes, remotely. Well, we'll be in person soon enough. This Thursday night edition of Face the State is becoming very popular, and we received hundreds of questions for you via the Channel 3 app, also through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even LinkedIn these days. I want to talk about, first, your big announcement today, the May 20th reopening of some aspects of our state. One thing that was missing that people are wondering about, I got a lot of emails on this, schools. Do you anticipate that they'll be closed for the rest of the year, or do you think they'll reopen?
We're going to make that announcement early part of next week. We're talking to every superintendent around the state, seeing what type of options we have. My instinct is it's probably going to be a long haul to get it opened before June. But the door is ajar, so we're just going to let Miguel Cardona, our commissioner, make the announcement next week.
In neighboring Rhode Island, Governor Gina Raimondo canceled all events that are larger than 50 people. The Jazz Fest is gone, the Newport Folk Festival, all weddings over 50 people. She's now calling off. Do you foresee something like that here in our state when you think about like Memorial Day weekend, Sail Fest in New London, other summer festivals?
I think for the near term, that's probably true. We'll see what June, July, and August look like. Maybe things lighten up a little bit. We're testing a lot right now. We know what the infection rate is. I think it's on the down slope. That's a good sign, but obviously social distancing is really key to keeping it on a down slope. I look at Germany, things are popping up there a little bit. We don't want that happening in this country.
Let's talk about the good news that you announced today, and that is that hospitalizations are on the decline. And so here are some of the things that will be opening on May 20th. I know restaurants will be opening outdoors only, but no outdoor bars. We also have some remaining retail stores will be opening. Offices, if they can work from home where possible, you're advising that. Hair and nail salons, I know people are really excited about that. Museums, zoos, additional outdoor recreation like camping, campgrounds, things like that. University research programs, all those will be opening on May 20th. But there are some people who are wondering about some sorts of fitness centers, gyms, and churches. What do you think about those if they practice social distancing?
Yeah, so it's worth remembering that, manufacturing, construction, finance, media, the heart of our economy kept going, but the service sector got hit really hard just because social distancing in restaurants and bars is pretty tough. When it comes to what you said, workout facilities, gyms and the such, I think they're going to be in a second stage, mainly just because there's a lot of people in relatively close contact. But we're talking to the gyms, seeing if they can stretch things out a little bit, do antiseptic cleaning. Maybe we can get them going a little earlier, but not on May 20th.
We have this question from Donna in...
What else you asked me?
Churches as well, sir, Governor.
Churches, right now it's limited at 50, but we're thinking about, look, if you're outside, you're 1/10 as likely to catch an infection as you are if you're inside. So we're talking to, the ministers and religious leaders about what we can do maybe outside come this summer so we can have some bigger services.
Let's talk about this question from Donna. And we talked about the campgrounds being open for Memorial Day weekend. Rocky Neck, Hammonasset, those will be open, to clarify?
I think they are. I think provided you can do the appropriate social distancing, I think we've got to make an announcement on that next week. My fingers are crossed we can make that happen.
We have this question from a Connecticut dad on the cancellation of spring sports statewide. He says there are thousands of kids and their families who want to know if they're going to be able to play any Little League baseball at all, softball, soccer, and the like. Do you think youngsters will be able to get safely back on fields this summer?
This spring, no. This summer, I sure hope so, especially sports where it's easier to keep a distance. As you maybe know, we said the Travelers Golf Tournament, it can be played, but it won't be played in front of a crowd. You know, those sports where there's a lot of interconnection and contact, probably less so. Those where you can keep a distance, I hope so.
Connecticut
like baseball.
Connecticut, yeah, I like it too. You know, Connecticut is known for its fairs. Most of them take place sort of in August and September. But Michelle from Putnam writes, do you think any of the fairs will happen this year because thousands of people go to them? I believe the first one is the end of August in Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken. Do you see these opening this year?
We'll have some determination on that. Give us another month. I mean, we were really focused on what we could do May 20th. You know, you say, okay, why May 20th, and what more are you going to know in a month? In a month, we're going to know what happened in places like Georgia, where they opened up all the restaurants and massage parlors, nail salons, and see if that reflected a spike in infections or not. In a month, we'll have a lot more testing and a lot more masks, and that gives us the freedom for more people to get back to work safely. And in a month, we'll have a better idea of what's going on in the region, and that'll help determine what we can do with fairs in August and September.
I have a quick final question before we head to the break. This is from David in Hebron, and he says he's noticed a lot of cars with Massachusetts plates in the parking lots of Connecticut's golf courses because our golf courses are open. He wants to know if could there be a significant increase as we are starting to trend down because of these people? We've worked hard to minimize the spread in this area. Why don't we adopt the same rules that Rhode Island did and not allow out-of-state players to minimize the spread of this horrible virus?
I think that's a very good idea. I had not heard that as a problem. I know that at our beaches and parks, we limited the number of automobiles that can go in because they were being loved to death last Saturday. And I know we start charging out-of-staters in a couple of weeks. I asked Katie Dykes, our commissioner, if we could accelerate that because we don't want anything that attracts out-of-staters into the state.
And one more question. I know I said one more before the break, but we have this one I want to add because you can relate to this certainly from Carly and Bolton, looking for guidance for weddings this summer, particularly September. I know your daughter's getting married Labor Day weekend. Should people postpone these things, you think? Like if you have a June wedding?
Yeah, my daughter Emily's looking for guidance too. I don't think so. I mean, September's a long way away. I can't make a commitment on that, but I think we're going to know within a month. We'll be able to make some predictions. I know some states have said they're going to limit gatherings to no more than 50 or 100 people into August. And obviously an outdoor wedding is a lot safer than an indoor wedding, but give us a little more time. I don't want to mislead anybody.
Welcome back to our special live edition of Face the State with Governor Ned Lamont. Governor, thanks so much again for joining us this Thursday night. I want to shift to education for just a bit. We have this question from Colleen in Stafford. What will social distancing look like in the school system this fall? If masks are required, what if students refuse to wear them? And what about sports?
Well, that's a long way off, but if facial masks are required, they're required, and we'll want people to wear them. I don't think anybody's made that determination as yet. You know, sports, I really hope we're back to sports in September. My fingers are crossed that we'll be able to get a green light on that. But look, we've got the best medical experts in the world here in Connecticut, led by Dr. Albert Coe, the leading epidemiologist, infectious disease. He's got people overseeing the testing protocol around the state, seeing what risks we have coming in from out of state. and he'll be able to make a very safe determination for us, I think, in the near future.
I coach football in the fall, Governor, so I'm certainly hoping it's back as well. Let's talk college. We're going to read two questions back to back and then have you answer them. The first is from Michael in Southington, who says, as a college student at CCSU, the uncertainty surrounding the fall semester is taking a toll. Many of us are holding back from registration and signing off campus leases. When do you think a decision will be made, and what do you think the CSU system is leaning towards? And then Colleen wants to know, how will student safety be maintained in college dorms and in college sports?
Well, I can tell you that the Board of Regents is making that determination as we speak, as are the private colleges. So I'm leaving them an awful lot of discretion there. I know what they're concerned about, though. That's certainly in residence halls. You have a lot of tight living, and that's probably going to be a little riskier for those schools where most of the people are commuters in and out, like CCSU in New Britain, where I used to do some teaching. I think they'll be able to maintain a lot more of the protocols there.
We have two questions now about essential workers and the idea of extra compensation for them. The first is from Tim in Naugatuck. Are there any plans to compensate workers considered essential during the pandemic? Medical workers, manufacturers, teachers, and grocery workers. And Michelle in Lebanon has a similar thought. She asks, when are essential workers going to get hazard pay, maybe an extra $600 a week like the unemployed are getting? What do you think, Governor?
Well, we at the state level are providing some types of combat pay and bonuses. You know, our nurses in the nursing homes are getting a premium for what they're doing every day, taking care of their, elderly clientele. Nurses and doctors at the hospital, through some generosity, we were able to set up free daycare for them, free life insurance for folks. We're doing little things we can to make a difference. I think we got to do more. I know that Senators Murphy and Blumenthal have a combat pay provision in the next supplemental to see if we can help out a broader group of people.
And this is from Don. If an essential business is not following rules and guidelines set forth by the governor, what can and what should an employee do? What rights does an employee have if they feel unsafe or at risk due to this problem? Is there anyone they can call or make a complaint to, like a whistleblower?
Sure. Yeah, you can absolutely call the Department of Labor. And we are enforcing our safe store rules. Our safe store rules say your employer wears a mask, provides you with a mask. You can go to the CBIA website, and if you're a small company, we provide you free masks. And we also want folks going into the store for the near term to wear a mask as well. And that's what the executive order says, and that is enforced.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have much more with Governor Ned Lamont.